Okay. So, welcome to Inner Alchemy, Body, Breath, and Words. Jessa Francis here. I am so happy to have you with me today. I have this beautiful practice put together and one that it has a whole lot of meaning for me. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And so you can see the slides here. Can you see that?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, so this has like so much meaning for me because I recently co-authored a book with my teacher, Adi Shakti, who I'm a part of the Akanda lineage, the Adinath Shiv lineage, and Adi Shakti is kind of like one of the teachers of the lineage. And I work with her and our guru. And she wanted to create a book on post-traumatic growth. And it was right up my alley because I'm a memoir writer and I teach memoir writing. And so I jumped on this opportunity to share my writing and to, have another opportunity to kind of delve into my own shadow work, and uncover some of the different things that happened in my past to, think post-traumatic growth. Like, how can I grow from this, traumatic experience? How can I take this hard life experience, this thing that could potentially take me into a dark place of fear and frustration, and instead um, alchemize it, right? Change the perspective around it, find and pull out the growth, and with that, a sense of gratitude, right? And so when I started putting this together, I thought Inner Alchemy. I loved the title because it's alchemizing those hard things. It's taking the rock and turning it into gold. It's taking um, these these different things that are happening to us and shifting that perspective. And as a yoga teacher, I know the power of movement. I know the power of breath work. And as a writer, I know the power that, memoir writing has, that self-study has. In yoga, we call it svadhyaya, self-study. And so that is kind of how this particular workshop was born, from doing that work with her. And I'm always drinking from other wells and remaining inspired constantly. I think it's so important for us to find the right mentors and the right guides and the right people that can inspire us. And yeah, she's definitely been that for me. Um, so right now you have stepped inside the Caim Circle. The Caim is spelled Caim, and it is a Gaelic or Celtic word, and it symbolizes sanctuary. It also can be a representation of unconditional love and protection. In traditions, in the Gaelic traditions, when someone would get married or if they were having a certain kind of ceremony and they wanted people to feel safe, they would just walk around or draw a circle around the couple or around the ceremony, and just kind of symbolizing this um, ability to take this space and make it sacred, to make it um, to make the energy around the space more beautiful and more inviting, and to let people know that they are not going to be judged, that they are not going to be harmed in any way. This is a safe space. And so when I think about sanctuary, I tend to think about my grandmother, and I think we all have like either a person, a place, or something where we can close our eyes and we can think about this, person, place, or thing, and we can feel the love around it. We can feel that sense of sanctuary. I would walk into my grandmother's house and wrap myself up in her arms, and I immediately knew that I wasn't going to be judged. I was safe. I could let down my guard. And she was my Caim Circle. And so when I created my membership and started my business, that symbol was what I, like clung to. So in this space, I want you to just go ahead, and I invite you to kind of look around your room, to kind of look up at the ceiling, look down at the floor, look down at your body, and ground yourself into the space, and hopefully feel the ability to be right here and right now, to be in the present moment, and to kind of relax into it, and to know that here, you not only have the ability to feel safe, but to feel seen, heard, and loved. Because if you're here, you're hopeful for some sort of healing or growth. We're all working towards taking better care of ourselves, living our life with meaning and purpose, and with love at the forefront. And I put holistic in front of everything because that is so important for all of us to understand that the mind and the body are connected. And whether you are a religious person or a spiritual person, or, you just understand that there's energy to love and hate, there's something outside of ourselves that maybe we don't fully understand. And you, depending on your beliefs, are able to connect with that on whatever level, right? But it's just more than anything, it's so important to understand that our thoughts and our brain is not something that is separate from us. Our brain is a tool, just the way our hands and our fingers and our legs and our liver, these are all just different parts of our anatomy, of our physical self, of our Atman, which is like the physical food body, and realizing that our thoughts and our emotions and our body sensations, they're all just deeply, deeply intertwined. And the more we lean into that and accept that, when our energy is off, our thoughts are going to be off, our emotions are going to be off, and therefore our actions and behaviors are going to follow suit. And all of these things link up and connect. And when we experience trauma or prolonged stress, our bodies, our physical bodies, actually are storing these traumas and the pains on a cellular level. And they can affect us in so many ways. They can affect the way that we stand, right? Our posture, the tension that we're holding in our muscles, and our immunity overall. There's so many people that are sick more often because they believe that. I grew up in, my aunt, she used to just constantly say that everybody made her sick. And if somebody sneezed, they would never get sick and she would get sick. It's because she truly deeply believed that she just was more susceptible. And what you believe is real. So your thoughts and your emotions are connected to your body and your physical health. So this connection means that when we work on physical practices like movement and breath work, we aren't just benefiting the body. We're helping to release emotional and psychological, the hold that it has, that trauma that it has over us, right? And when we move the body and when we breathe with the body, we can let go of energy, old stagnant energy that we have been holding on a physical level. So likewise, processing emotions through tools like journaling and memoir writing can support the body's ability to heal by promoting, the sense of relief, but also the clarity, the awareness, the conscious awakening, and those aha moments that we have when all of a sudden we're like, oh my gosh, that's why I thought that. That's why I felt that way. And we feel this relief that can be very physical. So just integrating these practices can help guide us through that holistic path of transformation and healing. And that's what we're here to do today. So I hope that everybody here, that whether you're here live or you are watching this replay, I hope that you're coming to this space with a mind that is open and a heart that is open. And so we are going to, we're just going to ground ourselves in the present moment, and we're going to set an intention for today and for this practice. So just go ahead and pull yourself upright. And you can, maybe you can stand or you can sit, whatever kind of feels good to you. But I just want you to bring awareness into the body, and you're going to start using your breath to inhale in and down into the lungs. And then let that exhale. And we're going to do that again. Inhale all the way down into the belly. Feel the belly expand. And then let that out again. Soften the shoulders, soften the jaw. And then as the next breath, I want you to breathe all the way down into the feet. Just imagine that breath going in and going all the way down, and then feel into your feet. Maybe you have shoes on, maybe your feet are just touching the ground. Wherever they are, just bring your awareness to the feet. And just continually breathing here. I want you to breathe down into the body, starting at the feet and then rising. You're bringing your awareness up the body from the feet to the ankles, to the calves, to the knees, to the thighs, to the hips, into the abdomen. Pull the chest up, feel the spine as it rises up from the tailbone all the way to the back of the neck, to the cerebellum, into the brain. All of our nervous system running up and down our spine, connected to the brain and connected into all of our internal organs, all the rest of our body. Just notice yourself now on that cellular level. Kind of thinking about the anatomy, thinking about the bones, the ligaments, the muscles, the tendons, the brain, just working away. And thinking about what it would mean to start thinking about our thinking. It's called metacognition. And this is where we have the ability to kind of witness our thoughts, to witness what they're doing in there, what they're saying. Maybe we're trying to focus on our feet and all of a sudden we're thinking about dinner or a conversation we had or the thing that we need to get done, right? And we just become witness of our thoughts. And here we can actually begin using our thoughts how we want. We can implant the thoughts that we want, right? That's where we do affirmations. And that's where we can set intentions. I just want you to bring an intention, whatever that intention is for yourself today. Maybe the intention is to remain open, to receive more information, to learn something new. Maybe it's about growth, or maybe it's healing. Maybe you have something that just you know that you need to process and that you need to heal. Just gonna let you make that decision for yourself. Just breathe into that. Now, whatever intention that you have brought forth in your mind, whatever that intention is that you've brought up, I want you to feel it expand out from your mind and roll down the body. If your intention to heal, right? We feel the power, the healing power of love roll down the body. Maybe our intention is to learn. Feel the power of education, power that comes with opening our mind to something new. Whatever that intention is, just really want it to settle in. Settle in on that physical level. Settle in on that emotional level, as well as in the mental. Just be with that intention just for a moment. And then you can slowly bring your eyes open. And we are going to press on. And so right now we're going to do a practice of somatic movement and body awareness. And this is just a really powerful something that you can do for yourself any time. And so no matter where you're at, you don't need to be fancy at all. You're just going to stand up. And I'm actually going to rotate my computer around here so you can see me a little better. And I would just want you to stand up, and I want you to put your feet, your heels are going to come down directly from your hips. Okay? So you just feel that alignment, kind of like where your hip flexors are. And I want you to feel that alignment going straight down to your feet. And now I want you to lift your toes, and I want you to feel the four corners of your feet. And then I want you to bring that awareness. What's happening when you're doing that in the rest of your body, right? I'm feeling a little clench in my glutes. My core is tightening a little bit. And I'll lift the chest. And from here, I want you to kind of rock your pelvis forward and back. What is your posture normally like? You know, how do you normally stand? And what does it feel here to kind of pay a little bit closer attention to your posture? And one thing you can do here to help your posture, you can do some cactus arms, bringing your hands out on either side, trying to get the bottom here, like nice and parallel to the ground. And you can flex those shoulders back, feeling that flex through the shoulder blades and how it pushes out the chest. Lift the crown. I want you to use your breath as you breathe in and down. Beautiful. You can go ahead and drop those arms, but keeping awareness. And you can drop your toes too, but I just want you to keep everything sort of locked in here. So we have a strong, broad, open heart space, We've got the shoulders pulled up and back, right? Or down and back. We have a nice long neck, crown is high. And then starting at the very bottom of your feet, I want you to begin doing another body scan, rising up here. And I want you to think just slowly, slowly, slowly here. We're going to go real slow about where your feet have been in this life. Where have you lived? Where have you ran? Where have you walked and moved? It's probably lots of different places. I've lived in 9 states and 5 countries. These feet have been everywhere. And with, all of these different places, you're going to have different memories coming in. And I want you to keep rolling up the legs and think about the entire lower body up and just below the hips, right? We can start thinking back. Maybe you think about the legs. Do you have some scars? Do you have different memories that involve the feet, the ankles, the knees, the legs? Maybe you had different accidents. Maybe you're thinking about how you were a runner and these powerful legs have, maybe they've lifted weights. Maybe they've kicked some butt. Maybe they have, there's all the things that these incredible, incredible limbs have done. So just take a moment here and let your mind be flooded with memory. All the places you've walked, all the places you've run, thinking about the different scars and the memories attached, where you grew up, how you skinned your knee when you were a kid falling off your bike, right? Beautiful. And then go ahead and widen your stance here. I want you to get nice and wide, and I want you to begin, you can go ahead, you can put your hands out on either side, or you can put them on your hips. I'm going to put mine on my hips. And I'm just going to do a little sway back and forth. And I'm really bringing my awareness into my hips, into my glutes, and into my pelvic cradle, right? And there's a little bit of a trigger warning here because a lot of women, we hold a lot of trauma, a lot of pain from our past in this particular region. And as you move from side to side, maybe you want to bend your knees and maybe you want to invite in a little sway. And I want you to begin thinking about dancing, something really good, right? Where have you danced? Do you dance as a kid? And you can begin rolling your hips around, doing circles, go the other way. Just very intuitive intuitive movement here, right? I want you to just kind of do this on your own. Just getting into your hips. Maybe you want to roll a little bit further down. Maybe you want to come up. Maybe you want to step. Maybe you want to do anything that feels good. Maybe you want to start getting your hands involved. Just getting a little sway going on and thinking about dancing. Thinking about where you've danced, who you've danced with. Invite in some memories of dance. I like to dance in the kitchen with the dog. I'm always shimmying and shaking it around, right? Just inviting in some pleasure into the hips. And maybe if you're a mother, you can think about this is the womb space. You've carried children here, or maybe this is a very triggering space because of that. Just think about, go ahead, and once again, I want you to make sure that you feel safe. We You go wherever you want to go mentally here. But just know that you're safe and you can start thinking about anything that comes up within the hips. And as you're moving here and as you're swaying and you're getting into this, I want you to imagine that there is a deep inner muscle inside here called the psoas muscle, and it's wrapped around on the inside, and it is activated every single time we have a trauma response. All right, I'm going to silence my phone. Thought I had already done that. And every time we have a trauma response that's kind of locked down. And to think about trauma and the way it's impacting our body, we have to understand that where the nervous system is on the back of the brain, and this part of the brain doesn't understand time. It's not connected to the frontal lobe. And in order for us to really truly process and release the traumas and the pains in our life, we have to literally shake it out. And you'll have maybe seen on National Geographic, just keep swaying here and allow yourself to feel whatever you feel. And you can shake, you can do whatever feels good. Maybe you want to start flicking your maybe you want to start flicking your hands and your feet. I'm just gonna keep talking here while you move. Right? And so what we need to understand is that that part of the brain doesn't understand the concept of time. So when we are activated into that stress response and that psoas muscle activates and fight or flight activates and it squeezes and clenches down on us, so much of that trauma is left unprocessed, stagnant, clenched into the body. And so we end up really tight, right? I have really, really tight hip flexors. I know that my body is still clinging to a lot of trauma that I have to continually process and move through. And body movement, specifically somatic movement, is really, really helpful with this. And so you can dance, you can sway, anything that is going to really kind of get this going, right? And sometimes it's just maybe you want to even pound your hands on your hips and see how that feels. You can do the sides, you can do the glutes, you can do the hip flexors. And you'll be really surprised how often when you're doing movements, like especially in yoga, that you'll get a little frustrated, especially with repeat movement, where you're just like going up and down or swaying in that same movement over and over. You're going to really, that some emotions may come up, some anger, some grief, and all of a sudden you're emotional and you don't know why. Well, it's because your body is literally processing some of that grief. So I think I was starting to say this when we go back to National Geographic or we watch, these animals on TV, they're being chased by the lion, right? And the deer is running away, running away, running away, and it finally gets away. It goes into the woods and you'll see it just shake, 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 shake. The whole body just quivers. And then it's able to release that trauma. It gets back up and it goes about its merry way, goes back to eating grass, la-di-da, right? And we as humans, we don't give ourselves that opportunity. We don't want to have seizures every time where, we get an email. So we have to take the time to do anything that is relieving of the joints, right? We can shake out the hands, we can shake out the arms. And as you do this, you may feel like it's almost like there's a sensation rolling down the arms. And it's like you can imagine like the trauma held in the upper body and it's rolling down the arms, down the shoulders, down. All of a sudden you feel it. You feel it rolling down the arms, and you can even imagine taking it and whipping it off of your fingers, just getting rid of it. And just imagine as you shake and you take that and you cast it away. Energy no longer needed. You're doing your own Reiki here, right? We're just taking the energy and we're getting rid of it, right? And you can do that for the hips, and you can shake out your feet, and you can kick the legs, and you can kick it off. And this is really kind of beautiful. Especially when paired with your yoga practice. So some of the classes I teach, and if you're in the Caim Circle, you'll see some of my videos where I'm doing my flow, and all of a sudden we get up, we have our peak pose, and the next thing I know, we're in Goddess, and I'm telling you to shake it. And we're shaking it, and we're getting rid, and we're doing that somatic work. We're doing those pelvic rotations. We're moving the joints. We're getting rid of that stagnant energy that we do not want. So go ahead and slow your breath and bring yourself back into stillness. And now that you have kind of shaken all of that and moved in that way, I want you to go ahead and in your stillness, do another body scan. What do you feel that is different? Go ahead and once again pull your shoulders down and back. Lift the crown. Starting at the feet, rolling up. Maybe there's a little tingling sensation. Maybe you can actually feel the energy has shifted around you. Maybe you're like, ooh, I need to do more of that. That's usually me. I'm like, I need more, please. Or maybe you're just feeling exhausted and you want to lay down, because that can happen too. So just being aware of the body, doing those body scans, and then doing those movements that sometimes may start off feeling awkward, right? But then they slowly begin to help us feel really good. And that is the way that um, somatic movement really works, and exercise in general, right? So often we don't want to work out until we do. And then once we do, we're like, oh my gosh, I feel so much better. And so I just wanted to give you that little bit of a taste of what the power of somatic movement. And there are so many different ways, but the main focus of it there, and as you can see, it's moving the joints, it's shaking things out, it's letting your body really kind of convulse, gyrate, dance, and just listening to it with that awareness. And as we also did, we did that, that body scan where we're bringing up different memories, right? We're bringing up these memories that are attached to the different body parts. And we can do that all the way up into the chest, down the arms, up into the head. We, maybe you've had concussions. There's all kinds of different things. And you can write an entire piece, an entire memoir just around the different things that have happened to you on that physical level and what those have meant for you, right? So that skin knee when you were a little kid definitely had an impact on you in some way. And we can actually go back and we can think about that, and we can say, with no judgment and just curiosity, we can ask ourselves, what it is or what effect it had on you to have, maybe been humiliated when you fell, or to have skinned your knee and no one was there, or that someone was there, right? Taking these experiences from our childhood and from our adolescence and growing up, and recognizing how way back when, and we don't think it matters, but it does, and it's locked into us on that physical level. Okay, and so the next practice we're going to do, we looked at somatic movement. Now we're going to look at the power of breath. And if you've taken any of my yoga classes, you know that I love breathing. And it is so helpful for so many different ways. And there are all kinds of different amazing types of breath work, not just yogic breath work, but just powerful ways to calm and cool our nervous system, right? And to support us by taking us through either a lunar practice, and I'll talk a little bit about what a lunar practice is, or a lunar lunar practice. And we never want to just do solar, right? Because we don't want to just activate. We want it to do something gentle and then heat it up and then go back into something more gentle. We want to do what's called vagal toning. And so the big bad boy of the nervous system is called the vagal nerve, the vagus nerve. And this is also called the wandering nerve because, like I said, it's the biggest nerve in the body, and it has so much influence on our entire being. It's a wandering nerve that travels all the way up into the brain, to the back of the brain, all the way down into the legs, into the hips, into the organs. And it activates with our fight or flight response. So every time we have stress or trauma, our nervous system is actually just trying to protect us, right? And we are the ones that have to remind our nervous system and actually tell our nervous system from, like that intention setting exercise we did, that metacognition where we're taking our thoughts and thinking, this isn't a bear. I am not in immediate danger. I am safe. And it's your responsibility to do this work and to take the time to say, I am safe, and to tone that vagus nerve, to soothe it, to calm it down, and to take it out of that stress response. And this is, as we practice this, I call it deepening and widening your inner well, right? Because we have a certain amount of tolerance. We have a certain amount of resilience to stress. And some of us feel like, oh, it's the dog in the burning building, this is fine. But really, you're not fine, because if you were fine, then you would be in your parasympathetic nervous system. You would be in rest and digest. It's not fine to sit activated. It's not fine to sit in that fight or flight and just get, your body completely locked down and in pain, and to be sick, and to your digestive system to not be working, and all the things that come with that stressed out state. That's not fine. But what we can do is we can tone, we can deepen and widen our inner well, create more tolerance, create more resilience, so that when the traumatic thing comes or the stressful thing comes, when we're driving down the road and the bunny runs across the road, we freak out and we go activated, and then, okay, it's fine, it's safe. And we can tap right back into our parasympathetic state. We can go right back into rest and digest, right? So breathing, when you think about the body, and you think about how, our liver is functioning without us thinking about it. Our heart is pumping, we're breathing, all of these things, everything just works automatically, right? But we can't control our heart. We can't control our liver, right? But we can control our breathing. It's the one part of the automatic response that we can play around with. And so when we use these techniques to help calm ourselves, not only are we able to move with the breath and calm with the breath, what else is being affected by that breathing and by that soothing of that vagus nerve, by the like soothing the nervous system? We're calming our heart rate variability. We're supporting our digestive system. We're supporting our immunity, our lymphatic system. We're supporting everything. And this takes you right back to that mind-body connection, right? When we take care of our emotional, mental state, we take care of our body. When we take care of our body, that physical state, we take care of our emotional, mental state. These things are intertwined and so connected. And our breath is so powerful. It is magic. And so I'm going to take you through a few of my favorite exercises. And one of them is just humming. It's just, we call it Brahmari breath or bumblebee breath. And I like to do this at least 7 times. And that's just coming from my lineage. We do 1 breath for every chakra. So there's 7 main chakras, and I go from the root to the sacral, to the navel, to the heart, to the throat, to the third eye, to the crown. And if you're interested in chakras, check out my chakra alignment workshop. So we're just going to go ahead and stack your shoulders above your hips. Lift the crown, the ears are over the shoulders. We're going to inhale in. And on the exhale, you're just going to make that long humming breath like a honeybee. And as you exhale that out, you can feel the shoulders relax. Relax the jaw. And go again. Inhale. Inhale. And that's just a really gentle breath. And one of the next breaths that you can do is you can actually take that bumblebee breath and you can actually go a step higher, right? So if you're dealing with a little more stress, this is what I recommend you do. You take your thumbs, you put them in the ear and you close the ear, and then you can actually shut down the sight, right? You can close the eyes, and then you can do the same breath. So inhale. Do 2 more. Inhale. Inhale. Beautiful. And as you can see by that, when you it's kind of like putting blinders on a horse to get them to calm down. Like just, it takes you out of the chaos. It gives your brain this thing to do, and you're able to feel that soothing feeling just kind of wash over the entire body. And another one that you can use when you're feeling a little more activated is either box breathing, which is inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, hold for 4. And then you just imagine making a box. And you can do this with counts of 4, or you can play around with different variations. And of course, that's not box breathing anymore, but you can do all kinds of different counts, and you can play around with this in so many different ways. I like to do 3, 7, 8 breathing, and we'll practice a little bit of both. So for box breathing, you go ahead and inhale for 3, 2, 1, hold. 3, 2, 1, exhale. 3, 2, 1, hold. 3, 2, 1, inhale. 3, 2, 1, hold. Exhale. 3, 2, 1, hold. 3, 2, 1, inhale. 3, 2, 1, hold. 3, 2, 1, and then just let that go. Simple, it doesn't take much time, and it's powerful. And so we can do that same thing, but now we're going to try it with 3, 7, 8. And I'm actually going to invite you to do this and pair this with what is called Anulom Vilom. So that's alternative nostril breathing. So you can bring your hand up here. You can either do one thumb at a time with your fingers connected. I really like to just use my thumb and my ring finger. So what we're going to do is we're going to close the right nostril, and then we're going to inhale for 3. And then we're going to close that left nostril, and we're going to hold for 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then really long, slow, smooth exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then inhale for 3. 1, 2, 3, hold for 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Exhale for 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you can play around with this and do all kinds of different variations. You don't like 3, 7, 8, you can try 4, 4, 4. You don't like that, you can do 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, whatever it is that feels good to you. And so these are just some, and these are all very lunar practices that are just very soothing and can help you just truly rest and tap into that parasympathetic nervous system. And if you're looking for something that is going to support you with more acute stress, that is when we start doing things like Kapalabhati or strong holds, right? Whenever we're holding our breath for a long time and then we let it out, right? And then we hold, and you can get locks involved and all kinds of things. Once again, if you're in the Caim Circle, check out the breathing section, because I'm adding new pranayams in there all the time, different types of breathing techniques. I just uploaded Moksha Kriya this week. And so Moksha Kriya is really specifically a perfect practice for insomnia. And just to kind of walk you through this, what you do is you lay on your back. You can do it sitting up, but you just lay on your back and you do 2 inhales, or I'm sorry, a single inhale through the nose and then a double exhale out of the mouth. And you're just giving the brain something to do, and you are slowly letting yourself sink and sink and sink into savasana, and after this you can pair it with yoga nidra, all the different things. It's like a rabbit hole that you can go down when you start in on all of these breathing techniques. So I hope that just helps get you started on understanding the power of your breath, right? All right, so now is the fun part. Writing for inner reflection. So what did we do earlier? We talked about the memories that we have, right? And so what we're going to do right now is we're going to reflect on something that happened in the past, right? I want you to just take a moment and reflect on a moment when you felt a sense of deep shame or guilt. And then ask yourself, what thoughts or beliefs are tied to that feeling? So if you hopefully you have like a computer where you can type, or a pen with a notebook. And I'm just going to give you a few minutes here to just take a moment, and I want you to ask yourself, where have you been feeling, some shame and guilt? And where, are your thoughts, and like where are your thoughts taking you? What is it tied to? And what beliefs are tied to that specific thought, right? And if you have any questions, please don't be afraid to ask. So I'm gonna give you let's go ahead with like 7 minutes. And if you need a little inspiration here, I want you to think about the beliefs that your parents had and the values that your parents held and the values that were taught to you growing up and how those values and beliefs may be tied to those feelings. Okay. So the next one is, what messages or lessons did you internalize from your past experiences that have shaped your self-perception? So one of the first things that we want to know by this question is, what is your self-perception, right? Like, how do you perceive yourself if you were to go look at yourself in the mirror, how would you describe yourself? Um, on every level, right? On physical, on mental, on emotional, like how do you perceive yourself? And how is it that those past experiences in your childhood are shaping that perception, right? So you can write a little description about your childhood, right? Specifically, kind of when you look back on your childhood, think about what the rules were in your house, right? Once again, what were those values? What were the core beliefs and the way that the house was ran, right? And do you still relate to that? Do you still believe in that? And if you don't, do you think that they're affecting you, right? So just give yourself let's do another 7 minutes and just take the time to really, really think on your childhood and start taking that self-perception and then drawing backward. Describe yourself, and then think about in the past where that perception is coming from. Okay, and now I want you to think back on these two reflections, right? And maybe you have a few bullet point things that are coming up, right? And we're thinking about these specific things, and maybe some of them are good, maybe some of them are bad, right? And right now we're going to look at the more negative thoughts, right? And we're gonna see, where we can take the harder things to look at, right? The harder past experiences that often we don't want to deal with. And we're gonna think about how you can shift your perspective around them, and so I want you to visualize for a moment strength and resilience in your life. Just bring up either a time where you felt really strong, really resilient, you followed through, you got the thing done. Like, think about some strength and resilience in yourself. And if you're having a hard time with that, then think about where you've seen it outside of yourself. Maybe you've seen it in a parent or a loved one or a friend. Just like bring that thought of strength and resilience into your mind. Bring that feeling into your body, right? And so now we're going to work towards shifting our perspective, right? So we bring that strength and that resilience up, and we think, what's one of that what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right? That saying that so many of us know. And we can think about where that strength has come from, where that sense of resilience has come from. And when we think about the warmth of the sun, right? We know the warmth of the sun because we also understand the cool of the night. We know the difference between feeling warm and feeling cold. And we need to know cold so that we can know the warmth. We need the warmth so that we can know the cold, right? And so when we look back on the different struggles that we've had and we see these different areas of our life where we've struggled, if we shift our perspective to see that we have an opportunity to learn and to grow from that, then we can begin shifting away from these different thoughts and beliefs that we're clinging to, these experiences that maybe we are stuck on, right? And that we're internalizing in a different way. And so, for example, I wrote a story about growing up, and I just remembered all of the different times that I ever saw my mother cry. And I remember the effect that seeing her pain had on me. And I remember just thinking about my past and my experience in my past and the different interactions and the different beliefs that were implemented onto me throughout my home. I was able to see that they were connected, right? This belief that life is hard paired with my mother crying, right, implanted on me this profound belief that there was, a significant amount of pain that came with life, that there was a significant amount of that life was hard. And that resonated so deeply in me that now whenever I go throughout my life and I have a difficult experience, I just write it off as, things are difficult and things are hard. But if I switch my perspective around and I begin to see that whatever experience I'm in, there is an opportunity for me to grow from it, right? So I want you to now take the time to think about those different perceptions and how you could begin shifting your feelings, your thoughts, and your beliefs to those, from those experiences into something new, into a way of growth. What have you learned from those specific things that you journaled about, right? What have you learned and how have you gone from there to now? So I'll give you another couple minutes. And so I'm going to share a little bit for myself. One of the things, for example, and this is just kind of an example of how this can really help in multiple ways, right? One of the things that I felt so much guilt and shame over in my life is I am divorced. And one of the lessons that I knew about myself as a child and growing up was that, like I said, I remember seeing my mother cry all the time. I remember thinking that, life was just hard, that things just were the way they were. And I knew that my mother cried a lot because of my father and their relationship. But divorce wasn't something that was in the cards. You just didn't get divorced. That wasn't something that was okay. And so that, of course, fueled a lot of my shame and my guilt for wanting to step out of my marriage. And, but I saw my mother struggling, I saw her alone. And instead of letting myself wallow in the fear and in the pain and in the shame and in the guilt of, wanting out of something that, that I knew wasn't right for me, instead, I chose love for myself, and I chose to take the pain of the situation and flip it on its head, and I used it as a catalyst to stand up for myself, to think that I could change things for myself and therefore for my children, that story didn't need to stay the way it was. Just because my parents did things a certain way didn't mean I needed to continue that on that same trajectory, and when I look back into my family history, I see so many women, right, that were unhappy, that stayed in unhappy relationships, that put up with different things. And I decided for myself that it wasn't going to be that way anymore. I bolstered more strength, more resilience into my heart and into my life, and I pushed forward with that. And now, does that mean it's been easy? No. But that does, and I can say for myself that I have more pride in myself. I have been able to step outside of the box. I have been able to see things in a completely different way than my mother was able to see them. And that now I'm moving forward and I have more joy and meaning in my life on a regular daily basis, because I'm attached to a sense of purpose, right? I know who I am and what I truly want, and I have more joyful experiences because I move in alignment with that, rather than letting myself be stuck in, shame and guilt, which, interestingly enough, for a lot of us, shame and guilt is just part of being a person. Like, one of the things that I was constantly taught as a child was that I needed to be selfless and humble, right? And with that, what comes? But, being guilty for anything that you do to be good to yourself, right? And so I had to take that and I had to rewrite the narrative around it, and in a way that freed me from that pain, freed me from that shame, right? So this is just, it's a way for you to kind of go back, and you can take, and it doesn't have to be shame or guilt, right? It could be all these, whatever specific thing that is coming up for you, and that that you're clinging to because of a story that your family, or that you've had in the past, and how that you can actually step outside of those walls. You can step outside of those confinements. You are not stuck. You're not nearly as stuck as your shame or your guilt wants you to believe. So I'm gonna open it up. Pilar, if you would like to share, it is totally up to you. Um, uh, but I want to put it out there that we grow stronger together. Um, and that it the reason I have been able to push forward and to continue fighting for myself and to choose something better for my life, right, is because I have had a community of support, and it didn't start off that way, but it took that loneliness factor away. And just today, for example, I was able to teach a yoga class to a dear friend, and we just ended up playing around with all of these different yoga poses and just having fun with it. When you get to connect with someone, it really, really helps. And so often we feel like we go through childhood and in high school and we get through college and we have all these friends, but then we become adults and connection gets to get harder and harder and harder. And but finding a group of like-minded people, and today I got to get together with my group. We're called the Badasses, which is hilarious, but it's just a group of women that are supporting one another, right? That are working towards the same thing. And that is what I'm hoping to work towards here. So um, if you're open to sharing, you're more than welcome to. If you are watching this in the Caim Circle at a later date, please feel free to drop, reflections in the chat, to ask any questions. I'm I'm really excited to hear how everybody feels after this. And before we go, we're just gonna do one more, just a small, gentle meditation. We're almost out of time. Trying to keep this from being too long. You can go ahead and stack your shoulders over your hips, ears over your shoulders. I want you to bring your left hand to your heart and your right hand to your belly. I want you to breathe into your belly and then breathe into your heart. And then let that go out from the heart and out from the belly. Do that again. Breathe into the belly, into the heart, and then out from the heart, out from the belly. This again, into the belly, into the heart, and then all the way up into the throat. Full, 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 full. Fill it all the way up, and then out from the throat, out from the chest, out from the belly. Do this one more time. Into the belly, into the chest, into the throat. Hold, 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 hold. Maybe try to get one more last sip at the very top. And then exhale from the throat, from the chest, from the belly. You can drop the shoulders, bring the hands to the lap. Soften the jaw. Bring a smile to your face. I want you to feel into the heart space. Feel the heart as it bumps and beeps and does its thing. Drumming away in there. It's a representation of so much. Not just our life, our body, but love, generosity, compassion, patience, gratitude. I want you to go ahead and attach yourself to all of those feelings. Feel love roll out from the chest, around the arms, and sweep out behind you and around you like a cape of honor. And then compassion fills and billows out from the chest, pulls down the shoulders. Some beautiful gold stitching on that cape. And then patience and kindness. Bring that feeling to your mind. Or if you've been patient, patient with yourself, patient with others. Feel that roll out of the chest, roll down the cape. And it gets a little more shimmery, a little more beautiful. And then gratitude. Gratitude, such a big, powerful feeling. Gratitude for this life, gratitude for this body, gratitude for this space and time in this moment right here. And you feel that roll down that cape, and it just starts shimmering and shining and flapping in the breeze and giving you power. Superman, and you're ready to fly off. Bring a smile to your face as you bring in that feeling of just pure love. You're off, and you go off into your life, and you have this new sense of power because of this new sense, this prouder, deeper sense of love. You're a messenger for love. You're taking care of yourself, and you're loving yourself. And because you're loving yourself, because you're honoring yourself, you know how to love and honor others. Beautiful. You can go ahead and slowly bring your eyes back open. That is where, we remember to do that. We remember to reaffirm, and continually choose love, right? We have two choices any and every day, right? We can choose the negative, we can choose the shame, the guilt, the fear, or we can choose love. We can choose gratitude, we can choose compassion and patience, and we can choose a different pathway forward. So, and knowing that that it is up to you, it is your choice on what you decide. So again, Jessa Francis, I am so happy that you were here with me today, and that I just had such a good time making this, and this is your reminder that the Caim Circle is available to you, and that sharing this is caring. This is a free class, and if you know of anybody who could use this, please let me know, because I would love to send it to them, because I want to cultivate more love, and I want to cultivate more in the way of conscious awareness, right? Awakening ourselves to all of these different practices that help us, right? Because the healthier we are, the more love that we have, the better. You smile to that person on the street and they smile back, rather than you frown and they frown. Put the goodness out there. But thank you, Pilar. Thank you so much, and I appreciate that.
Thank you so much.
This was so nice.
I didn't want to interrupt, so I just put it on the text or the chat.
I know. I appreciate that. I'm gonna go ahead and stop recording. Sending everybody love. Love you. Love you. Love you.